Hi, here I am again, Alan Wood, and I'm here with Mark Gunther.
Good morning, Al.
Good morning, Mark. And we're talking today about the rest of Section 5, and the beginning of it is the condition of the property. And this has become more important recently with the market. The market's very active right now, multiple offers, so buyers sometimes are losing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 offers. And they're in a situation and they've been losing them because they might have a home inspection in there and things like that, which we always recommend as an agent to get a home inspection. However, when a buyer's lost 3, 4, 5 offers, they find a house they love, they don't want to lose another one. So they have been waiving home inspections. So what happens with this, Mark, say they didn't do a home inspection and they go and close on the property today, and 8 o'clock tomorrow morning they go and turn on the furnace and it doesn't work. What would be the situation with that if it needed a new furnace, for example?
Unfortunately, absent fraud on behalf of the seller, meaning they specifically hid a defect, not that they had to disclose it or anything like that, but they actually hid a defect, that would be fraud. But unfortunately, in your situation, your buyer would be stuck with the house with the broken furnace.
And then the buyer would be going out and getting a new furnace, but there's nothing they can do back to the seller unless they knew the seller didn't disclose something. So an example would be if the seller or the buyer contacted the heating company to have them come look at the furnace, and they found out that that company had been out the week before and they told them that it has a cracked heat exchanger and it had a carbon monoxide leak. What would then possibly be the ramifications?
Well, I think, and I had that exact situation happen, fortunately for my buyers, is the seller was well aware of the issue. The heating company had been there previously and told them that the furnace was dangerous and should not have been operated with the cracked heat exchanger, and the seller never disclosed that. In that instance, we were able to secure a new furnace for the buyer at the seller's expense.
Right.
Those kind of stories are few and far between, unfortunately, Al. And I've been doing this for 30 years. Proving what someone knew or didn't know is very tough. It's not a standard of what they should have known or might have known. It's what they actually knew, and proving what's in somebody's head is a very high standard.
So if something like that happens, the moral of the story is call all the heating companies.
Exactly.
The other parts, two last parts in Section 5 are gas and mineral and timber rights, that they're all transferring with the property or not. It can be spelled out in there what's going to transfer and what's not. And this you don't see around here that often. You see it more in rural parts, maybe
Southern tier.
Yeah, Southern tier, down in Naples, Bristol. You might see someone sold the gas rights off to the property, or the mineral rights, the salt mine is underneath there, or something like that.
Correct.
And so it would just disclose what's transferring with the property.
Exactly.
And then the last part is the services. What services are to the property? It talks about. So that might say septic, public gas, propane, electricity, and the things with that is mainly for the septic, right, Mark? And make sure things like
exactly.
that is one of the things.
Yeah, you know, as I said, I've done this long enough where you think you've seen and heard everything, but I've had instances where a property's on septic and the seller truly thought it was on sewer. So I think it's important you as the buyer just confirm that, you know, the utilities you're getting are what you expect.
Yes, and I've seen that as well, because there are some places around town here that you would think it's sewer, but it's septic. And you know, and just like in even Brighton, Pittsford, some areas, I mean, you find some areas that in Fairport that it's septic, even though you think it's going to be sewer.
And you get a few houses here and there. The entire neighborhood's on sewer except for 1 or 2 houses.
Yeah.
And sometimes people are surprised to learn that they're actually not on sewer.
So we always check that, and we'll get into separate addendums later about septic inspections and things like that. But we want to thank again Mark for his 5 sections of this going through our contract. It's really been helpful. We appreciate your insight. And once again, Mark Gunther.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Mark.